Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to another Wednesday in the Word. Today we are looking at a passage in 1 Samuel chapter 15. We'll be starting in verse 7. So what has happened here is God has ordered Samuel to go and destroy the Amalekites. Not just destroy them, destroy basically that they ever existed off the earth. Everything they own, cattle, sheep, gold, houses, everything. He wanted the Amalekites, because they were so evil, had done so much evil towards his children. He wanted them every trace of them completely wiped out. He was to kill everything. Man, animal, everything. So it says this, Then Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from Havilah to Shur, to the east of the Egypt. He took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive. And all his people he totally destroyed with the sword. But Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep and cattle, the fat calves and the lamb, everything that was good. These they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak they totally destroyed. Then the word of the Lord came to Samuel, I am grieved that I have made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out my instruction. And ultimately, because of this, Samuel has a confrontation with Saul, and Samuel tells Saul, you know what? God has rejected you as the king of Israel, and he's going to take everything away from you. All because Saul was unwilling to destroy the best things. He was unwilling, their strongest, wisest, the king. He was unwilling to destroy their good things of the land. They were not willing to destroy, even though it was evil. And because God had told him, and God was grieved, he said he did not follow my instructions. And we get like that today. God has told us that we are to be separate from the world. We are not to love what they love. We are not to chase after what they chase after. And when it comes to low and cheap things, we have no problem doing that. But what I have seen is that when it comes to the good things the world has to offer, the best things, Christians are unwilling to destroy them. They're unwilling to cut the ties. Maybe it's sex. Christians are willing to reject most of the world, but when it comes to the way the world views sex, it's just too good. That's one of the best things the world has to offer, and they can't destroy that. They leave it. Maybe it's a certain TV show or movie that has questionable content in it. And Christians, if it was a bad movie, they go, well, I'm not going to watch it because it's a bad movie. But if it's a really well-rated movie, or it's very, very popular, or a TV show that is extremely popular, even though it's got all this bad content in it, they say, well, it's because it's one of the good things in the world. We are unwilling to destroy it, or unwilling to remove ourselves from it. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a substance, alcohol, or drugs. Because it's one of the best things the world has to offer. We're okay with destroying the base and the ugly things. We have no problem separating ourselves from those. But when it comes to the best things the world has to offer, we, like Saul, tend to say, well, we'll keep these things. And of course, Saul, he didn't see himself as evil. He said to Samuel, no, I'm doing this for the Lord. I'm going to take this good stuff and I'm going to sacrifice it to the Lord later. This is not a bad thing. Samuel says, no. To obey is better than sacrifice. The same way we justify, well, I'm going to watch this because it'll bring about this good outcome. Or I'm going to stay in this place because I can build this relationship or this or that. Or we have a million excuses. But when it comes down to it, it's just we are unwilling. God has said, flee from Satan. God has said, remove yourself from the world. And we become unwilling with some of the better things in life. Now, I'm not saying we have to go as far as the monks and live in a monastery completely separated, but my guess is if you have something, you know what it is. There's something in your life and you know what it is that you are unwilling to destroy, even though God has said to destroy it all. And Saul paid a high price for this. He clung on to the things of the world, and he lost the spiritual position that God had given him. He had lost that which should have been most dear, his relationship with God. Let us not be like Saul. Let us be willing, when God says to destroy everything, to not have to make excuses about why we kept the best, but to say, you know what, none of this is worth my time. All of this is evil, and I'm going to destroy everything because I don't care and I don't need any of this. I just want to please God, and I will focus on what he says. And if he says to burn these bridges to what seems really good, to what the world says this is the best there's to offer for a human being, if I have to burn bridges to the good things, if that's what God wants, I have no problem with that. I'll destroy it all and I'll follow God. Otherwise, sometimes like Saul, we can get into places where God says, no, I've rejected you for this moment because you were unwilling to listen. My hope is that is not any of us. My hope is that we can be better moving forward. Anyways, there's your thought for the week, and I will see you next Wednesday.